Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. Because this is my first video, I would like to take a little time to introduce myself and what this channel is about. My name's David Thompson and I live in the northeast of England. I've always been interested in British culture, both now and historically. I'm also a big supporter of common sense, which seems to be in short supply these days, but more about that later. So on this channel, I want to share some short stories from my life, some funny or strange and spooky, some profound, and how these experiences have shaped how I view things relevant to today. And I hope you'll find it interesting and hopefully bring a bit of common sense. Thank you for listening to this short introduction, and let's get started with the video. Now this is going to sound a bit like a history lesson because there's some history in it, but bear with, there is a story to it as well. A few years ago we decided to have a trip out and we went to one of those living museums called Killip lead mine in Weardale, northeast of England. It's a great place and I would recommend a visit to anyone. There's the usual setup for these attractions, original buildings and interiors, workings, the mine itself of course, and the new obligatory gift shop on the way out. We booked a guided tour into the mine itself and that took about 30 minutes. Now, how men work down in these places, sometimes days on end, is beyond me. 30 minutes was enough for us. The tour ended up back at the entrance, where the guide showed us just outside of the entrance what looked similar to raised flower beds you would have in your garden, but only about 6 inches high and filled with small rocks. They're called the washers, and the rocks from the mine were tipped into these small rocks, and children some as young as 9 were employed to rake through and pick out the lead ore as the water from the mine was washed through them, and it must have been hard, back-breaking work. We came away from there a bit more educated and a lot colder. Fish and chips on the way home and we were sorted. It was a good day out, we enjoyed it. And that visit in a way was what started my research on my family tree, because I knew vaguely that my mother's family from a long way back came from Weardale, and that was the link for me to pursue that side of my family's history. So a couple of years later, when I got some spare time, I started the research. I got back as far as 1790 before I literally ran out of spare time to go any further. But I managed to find out that the family lived in a tiny hamlet in Weardale in County Durham. They were all miners, which was the first sort of indication. And they had a family of 6. One day, as I was looking down a particular census return, the hairs on the back of my neck stood up. I could not believe it. In the census of 1861, it turned out that every single member of the family on my mum's side worked down that mine. And it just blew my mind, because prior to that, even when I was at the mine, I had no idea that I would be actually walking in my ancestors, literally in my ancestors' footsteps. And that included the youngest of the children, who were lead ore washers. And that was over 150 years ago, and it got me thinking, and I realised and recognised my place in this family and my place in this country, and it's where I belong. And why am I telling you all of this? Well, there's a lot of talk of these days about whether British ethnicity actually exists, if it's a thing, and this is where the common sense comes in. Of course it does. Of course it's a thing, and I have no doubt about my ethnicity. I stand at the front of a family that's lived, worked, grown and died in our country, going back generations. and even further back than I imagined, as a later DNA test revealed. I'm white, Indigenous British, predominantly English, and proud to be so. Thank you for listening to this video. I hope you found it interesting. Please like and subscribe and click on the bell to get notified of future videos. Bye for now.